Hey, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Melissa Frey here from Alaska's news source, and we're giving you an update here this afternoon on the flooding situation in the Mendenhall Valley just north there of Juneau, part of the Juneau community. As you may have heard or seen pictures or video, we have some pretty intense flooding, catastrophic in some locations because of a glacial dam release that happened just this morning. About 3 o'clock this morning is when we saw those peak water levels. So I'm going to walk you through what happened, what we know, and what folks need to prepare for in the coming days. And I just want to start out by showing you what the river looked like this morning. Again, contained, you can see it was running high and it was running fast. If you know this river, you know, yeah, that's not what it normally looks like coming down through the Mendenhall Valley. And let's take a look at those water levels. Again, this has been rising since Sunday morning. We knew this was coming because the basin that is up above this river and valley was full of water. We knew it at some point that was going to release and flood down into the lake and river below. This has happened annually now here for a number of years. So it crested just below 16 feet. That happened at 3 o'clock this morning. We have never seen water levels that high in Mendenhall River. It has been dropping rapidly since then, expected to drop down into that action stage here later this afternoon, which of course is good news. The reason why it's dropping so quickly is it was just one basin of water that really just flooded into the river all at once. You can think of it like a bathtub that the drain was pulled, it all released, and that moved into the river and lake. But it was a lot of water and it came all at once, and that's why we're seeing the widespread flooding that we are seeing. We do still have a flood warning in effect for the Mendenhall Valley for this area. That's in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Again, water levels are continuing to drop, already down about 6 feet from where it was early this morning. But we still have a lot of high water, a lot of inundation here inland, in some locations more than a quarter of a mile from the river. So it's really important that you stay away from those flooded areas. If roads are still closed, again, it's important to not enter them, to stay away from it. Now I want to show you just how far this water has traveled. This is an aerial drone video that you can see the river there at the top right hand side of your screen, and look how far that water has come in. Again, completely surrounding homes, entering homes in some instances. You can see completely covering the yards here in this area, covering up above cars as well. So it's widespread. We are hearing that there's more than 100 homes in this area that were impacted by this high water. There were also evacuations. Anyone that was close to the river was actually asked to evacuate yesterday. There were 43 people that stayed in the shelter. Some of them had to be rescued overnight, and there were also 24 campers in a nearby campground that had to evacuate, and they actually camped there at the emergency shelter as well. Governor Dunleavy has declared a state of emergency for this area, and you can see why just looking at these pictures here. It's a lot of water, and it's going to take some time for all of that water to drain out of the area, even though those river levels are dropping. Again, that water, it's come in and it's just going to take some time. We're seeing that water, again, not only surrounding homes in the area and businesses and buildings, but also seeing it just covering cars in the area as well. I want to show you this picture here. If you look off there on the right-hand side of your screen, look how the water is up to the wheel well there that you can see on those trucks. I've seen some pictures where it's even higher than that. So we have a lot of vehicles that have sustained damage in addition to homes and buildings and other structures. Now, and we always say, as meteorologists, we let you know, turn around, don't drown. And here's video just of the high water in the area. It looks like some local emergency officials, you'll see here in just a moment, are coming through this area. But the problem with water like this, you don't know what's underneath. You don't know what damage the water has done to the area. Again, here's an emergency vehicle coming through. They likely know what the ground is like in that area, and it wasn't too high. They knew what they were doing. But really important that you do not drive through flooded streets, because again, you don't know what's washed out underneath of that. So to stay safe, we say turn around, don't drown. Just stay away from it until you can see that dry ground. That's really important, of course, whether you're driving or walking into an area. Again, you can't trust what's underneath there. So again, it's a lot of water and it's just going to take some time. I do want to show you again the latest information that we have going forward on that flood warning and where this water is coming from. This is the Mendenhall Valley, and I want to show you this map of the areas. So you can see at the bottom there the Mendenhall River, which comes in out of Mendenhall Lake, which is at the base of Mendenhall Glacier. Okay, that's a really famous tourist spot of people coming into the area. Beautiful glacier there at the head of the river, but up above that is where we have Suicide Basin, and that's where this water came from. That water actually collects throughout the season. It comes from rainwater, it comes from snow melt, and it even comes from ice melt in the area. And you see that glacier is at the very top right hand corner. That is Suicide Glacier, a whole separate glacier. So water is draining down, fills up this basin, like I said, like a bathtub. And then once it's full, the water has to release. It has to go somewhere, and it eventually breaks through. And so Mendenhall Glacier is acting like a glacier dam for that basin, for that lake that sits above that. This is something that scientists have been monitoring and watching really since 2011, and we've been seeing this almost annually. Nothing like what we saw last year until this year, which again has been even more extreme than last year. But this has been getting worse by the year, more water filling into the basin and again coming in all at once. And I want to show you a time lapse of what this looks like. USGS has a webcam there. They're recording every single day. Starting back in April, we start to see those water levels rising. Again, it's just rain and snow melt fills it, but then see what happened just there? It all dropped at once. So again, the basin fills April, May, June, July, and then here in early August, you'll see it happening here. Just in the past couple weeks, the basin was full, didn't get any higher, and it all drops at once. And once that water releases, again, it has nowhere else to go except for right down into the lake and into the river. If we can pull back up that aerial drone video, I want to show you what that looks like overhead. Again, now that you understand where the water was coming from, again, this all filters back down. See the river there at the top, and then it just floods. So unlike a rain event or a big snow melt event, the nice thing is it happened at once. The flooding event is done. We know what has happened, and we're not anticipating any additional water to move into the area. So at this point, again, the worst has already happened. So going forward, it's going to be the cleanup. It's going to be drying out. We know that they do have resources locally for animals. If you don't have a place to store your animal or your animal's not safe in your home, the animal shelter is helping folks out with that. There's also a local business that's offering free sump pumps to people if they need to get water out of their homes. We have heard at least 3 people were rescued. That all happened overnight last night. Again, people weren't necessarily expecting it to come in as fast as it did, so got caught in some trouble there. We've also heard that there's some people that were not able to return to their homes, at least not yet, until they can figure out how bad the damage is and if it's safe for them to return home. Red Cross is, of course, helping those folks out to get them what they need in the time being. But again, the worst has happened, so now it's just the cleanup efforts that are ongoing. We do have multiple reporters on this today, and we're going to have widespread coverage coming up. If you need additional information or looking for additional information, you can find that on our website. We do have that there, and I want to say thank you to all of you who have shared your pictures and videos of the situation. Those of you that live in the Mendenhall Valley, definitely thinking of you folks today. Hoping that you're safe and that you can return to your home sooner rather than later, that the damage is minimal. But again, stay tuned right here on Alaska's News Source. We'll keep you updated. If there's any changes throughout the day, we will have that on our website. We'll have more information coming up tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. We're hearing from local officials. We're hearing from state officials. Even people from D.C. are weighing in and keeping a close eye on this situation. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you back here later.